Die Oranjerivier-projek is Suid-Afrika se grootste besproeiingsskema en bestaan uit 'n stelsel van damme, tonnels, kanale en stuwwalle, wat teen die jaar 2000 voltooi behoort te wees. Die Hendrik-vervoerdam word in 1972 voltooi en hieruit word water deur die Oranje Vistonnel na die Groot Visrivier en die Sondagsrivier Vallei geneem. Die PK Leroux-dam, ook in die Oranjerivier, is in 1977 voltooi. Die hoofdoel van die Oranjerivier-projek is om uiteindelik bykans 300.000 hektaar landbougrond onder besproeiing te plaas. Hoe noodsaaklik die bou van hierdie damme en besproeiingsstelsels vir ons land se welvaart ook al is kenners dit eens dat die mense inmenging in die natuurlike vloei van riviere 'n verstoring in die ekologie meegebring het. Die damme veroorsaak dat die riviere se vloeitempos gedurende die wintermaande hoër is as die normale natuurlike vloei vir die droë seisoen. Hierdie hoër vloeitempo van die riviere, tesame met die groter waterbehoeftes vir besproeiing en vir die opwekking van elektrisiteit, skep baie gunstige toestande vir die riviermuggie.
Simulium larvae are attached to rocks in the river and they need fast-flowing water loaded with food particles in order to develop. They attach to the rocks and they have mouth fans which filter out these particles. They develop from the first to the second to the third to the fourth, right up to the seventh larval stage, and then become pupae. And the adult develops in the pupa, a bubble of air develops simultaneously, and then the adult emerges. And as it emerges from the water, it flies away. And the males stay close to the river because they only feed on nectar and mate. That's their sole purpose in life. The females have to develop eggs, and for this they need protein. And the protein they get in the form of blood. And so for this blood meal, they have to fly away from the river and look for sheep or cattle, whatever the case may be. They fly for up to 40, 50, up to 80 kilometers away from the river, have a blood meal, and then find their way back to the river. The eggs have developed by that stage, and then they deposit their eggs in slow-flowing water above rapids. The eggs sift down into the water, settle in the silt, some of them hatch, and their larvae drift down and reattach and the next generation starts. Others stay in the silt until the next flood releases them, and then they hatch and start a new generation. Over the years, with the demand for water, dams have been built along the Vaal River initially, and then later along the Orange River. And our first problems with this midge cropped up in the Vaal River, below the Vaalharts irrigation weir. And now it's spread right along the Orange River, and it's spread also to the Fish River system after the building of the Orange Fish Tunnel. What happens there is that the larvae in the water have constant flow of water, so that they continue to breathe throughout the year. They also have enriched food particles in the water from the dams, where there's a lot of organic life. So this gives them ideal situation for breeding. They completely outbreed their competitors, because there are other midge species as well in the river, but they completely outbreed them. And also their predators. The predators aren't able to keep up with them and keep them under control. Now this problem, as I said, is now in the Vaal, the Orange and the Fish River. We can expect it to expand further in future as river flow is controlled. For example, the Lesotho Highlands water scheme, their dams will be built, water flow will be constant, and also a greater supply of water will be ensured.
Damme is van nasionale belang vir sover dit die voordele betref. Maar die nadele daarvan is ongelukkig nou 'n streeksprobleem.
At present, the only method for controlling simulium or black flies is to close the water flow in the Orange River at the PK Leroux Dam. The idea behind this is to revert back to the original flow of the river where it stopped completely in winter. By closing the dam, the water level drops, the pupae on the rocks are exposed, they dry out and die, and the larvae which are attached to the rocks release their hold and try to get back into the center stream that remains. If they reattach, they will survive. If they don't reattach, they will either starve or be eaten by fishes. The problem with this method, though, is that it will only work for a short distance below the dam. When I say a short distance, let's say up to 200 kilometers below the dam, unless the river is dried out completely over a long period. Now, this is impractical because farmers need water, and more irrigation is being practiced down the Orange River. So now we have a limited use for water flow manipulation. We have to think about other approaches.
As watervlak manipulering dan nie meer suksesvol teen die muggies gebruik kan word nie, watter alternatiewe bestrydingsmaatreëls bestaan?
Now, the only other approaches that are available to us at the moment are the use of larvicides to kill the larvae in the river. And this has already been very successfully done in West Africa by the WHO in their control of river blindness. There they have been killing another Simulium species, and they've used one microbial insecticide and one chemical insecticide, and both very effectively. And what we want to do now is to test these same insecticides here and see whether they work against our mudge species.
Well, in the beginning, we'll be interested in testing the two products that they've used in West Africa for laboratory trials in the beginning, small-scale laboratory trials. These laboratory trials are relatively artificial, so from those we will be moving to small-scale gutter trials alongside the river, which are more representative of the natural situation. And after those trials, we will be doing a full-scale trial in the Orange River.
Ons verwelkom natuurlijk die proeven wat beoog wordt met net een voorbehoud, is dat die middels, het sy biologisch of gifstowwe, moet baie species-specifiek wees, zodat het net die specifieke organisme aantas en nie ander organismes wat lewensnoodsaaklik is vir 'n gesonde ekologie van die rivier.
'n Mens kan maar net vertrou dat hierdie proewe die begin is van 'n langtermynoplossing vir die riviermuggie-probleem en dat dit die lewe langs ons riviere binnekort vir die mens en veral ook vir die diere draagliker sal maak.